Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today I will be making peanut butter cookies. My son, who loves peanut butter, wasn't crazy about this idea. How come peanut butter goes in a cookie? But last week when I made them, he tried. I had to really talk him into trying. He came back, wow, great, high five. So if he gives me thumbs up, that means the recipe is good. I am doing those cookies today. And I will be putting some chocolate chips in with some pieces of chopped nuts in for that extra crunch. Peanut butter cookies today. Welcome to my kitchen and thank you for watching. For the cookies today, I will need half a cup of peanut butter, 1 stick of butter, either 1 big egg or 2 smaller eggs, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, either brown sugar or cane sugar, 1.5 cup of flour, 1/4 of a cup of nuts, 1/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and vanilla extract. And this is what I need for the cookies today. And the first thing I always do is put a pinch of salt in my flour and baking powder and baking soda as well. 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 2/3 of a teaspoon of baking powder. So that will go on the end. And what I start with is sugar, that's peanut butter. It is room temperature again. I will have to mix it. Sugar, the peanut butter, and butter all together. Mix it until smooth consistency and then add egg, the vanilla extract. And now I will need a mixer. When the mixer is on, I will lower the volume so you won't hear it because it will be noisy. But it will take about 3 to 5 minutes for everything to come together, and this is how much time you need for it. Now that everything is mixed, I can add my eggs and the vanilla extract. Just a few drops. And then a little bit slower. And that took about 2-3 minutes of mixing. Now I will put the flour in and mix it on low, very short time until all is incorporated. I don't want the flour to be all over the kitchen, so I will just mix it first and then start my mixer. And the dough is ready. Mix chocolate chips and those nuts. You can use your hands. Maybe using hands is actually easier. And I will come closer and show you the consistency of it. And the consistency, very soft, very creamy. Hard to show it without actually touching the dough itself, but very soft and creamy. That's how I would describe it best. And now I will divide this dough into pieces, about 30 grams each. Usually I make cookies and 30 grams is like a universal size for me. So once you shape it, dip it in some cane sugar or brown sugar, like thicker sugar that you have, and on a cookie sheet. I like to wait and have about the same size for my cookies, so I don't have to worry that if I don't do that, some of them will be bigger or smaller. Chances are the smaller will be overbaked or the bigger will be underbaked. With the same size, they all will be baked evenly. Okay, time for another tray. And then I can count how many cookies you would have from this recipe. And my last one. And out of this recipe, I will have 26 cookies. Now that I divided the dough, I need to put those in the refrigerator for half an hour or freezer, because I do cheat sometimes, for 5-6 minutes. So I will use the freezer today. See you in a little bit. My cookies were in the freezer for about 8 minutes and they are hard as a rock. Maybe a couple minutes too long. So what happens if you put them in the refrigerator or freeze and forget? Kids call, you have a friend who is on the phone, and all of a sudden, instead of half an hour in the fridge, it's like hour and a half. Well, maybe those cookies will need additional minute to bake because they are very hard, very frozen. So pay attention to the timing. Cooking is much easier if it comes to being flexible. With baking, you need to be more exact. You just have to pay attention and check on them. So 350, and I will set the timer for 14 minutes just to check on them first and make sure they do need another minute or two. And why do I put them in the refrigerator? Because of the amount of butter and peanut butter. Butter melts in heat. Peanut butter is kind of similar. So if I didn't put it in the fridge, they would become very, very flat for me if I put them right away in the oven. Putting them in the fridge and making them cold makes them keep their shape more round. I will see you in 14 minutes or so, or when they're done. Thank you. Almost time. Okay, looking good. I will come closer with the camera to show you what I'm talking about, because believe me, every oven is not created equal. I had 4 and all 4 work a little bit differently. So every time I got a new oven, I had to learn for the first month. What you're looking for here is the edges of your cookie. You want a little bit of brownish color, but that's all you want. If you overbaked, they will be hard as a rock. But you want soft cookies on the inside and little crunch on the outside. And this is perfect for the cookies. So it took me 16 minutes, but remember, I had them in the freezer for a little bit longer than planned. And here is a closer look. They are still hot, but here is what I'm talking about. The edges of the cookie, brownish, a little bit light brown. And this is the indication those are ready. They are very delicate, almost melt in your mouth. I will have to wait about 20 minutes so they cool off, and then either put them in a box plate or straight in my mouth. Again, thank you for watching. Bon appetit, smacznego. I would like to let you know why I am a big fan of using scale instead of the cups. I do put measurements in cups so it's easier. As you know, I'm from Europe, so everything for me is in grams. And here in United States, any recipes you have is usually in cups. But I want you to pay attention to one thing, so take it as a tip. I learned by mistakes because I've done it before. So I have put together a flour, the same flour, all-purpose flour, into the same measuring cups. Exactly 2 cups in here and exactly 2 cups in here. But I want to measure it using the scale and show you if there is a difference and how much of a difference it can be. So here is the first 2 cups of flour, as you can see, 2 cups. And here is exactly 2 cups. All around, no cheating. And I will turn on, and there's nothing here. My scale, so it's set to 0. Maybe I should show you. So it's set to 0. If you can see, Okay, and I will put the first 2 cups in. And it says it is 248 grams. So now I will take this into a different cup, and it's empty. Put it back. It comes back to 0. And now the other 2 cups. All of it. And this one is 314. So now you can see that 2 cups are not created equal, right? They do not measure on a scale the same. So why is that? Well, it's all about handling the flour. If we are gentle with it, the flour is fluffy, it's light, and then 2 cups, nice fluffy flour. If you handle the flour, shake it, kind of bang it, on the surface somewhere, it loses its volume because it becomes dense. So you keep adding to have exactly 2 cups, right? Well, but it's much more heavier. It's much more flour that you need. So if you ever had a cake and you tried to follow the measurements and directions and the cake wasn't quite the way you hoped, it wasn't as fluffy, it wasn't as delicate, it wasn't as soft, well, maybe because there was too much flour. So it's just a tip, and I hope you will find it helpful to kind of pay attention to how we handle flours. I know how it is when you bake something and you put your heart into it, time into it, and then it doesn't come out the way you hope for. And it's frustrating. So I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.